I will make a two column layout using three different ways. First one example is CSS Flexbox, and second is grid, and like the last one is float. So the final product will look like this, and I have a very basic HTML and CSS. So currently this HTML CSS page looks like this. So let's start with the first example, which is CSS Flexbox. So I have a parent container div that is two column using Flexbox. So I'm going to copy this. This is the main container, and I have two inner div which has a class of column, this one and this one. So I'm going to select the parent container in my CSS and display flex. Just by adding this only one property, we will see that it changed to two column, but I want a small gap in between these two column. So in my next div is the column, so I'm selecting it here. So I am using SAS. So this is same as this is the same as this one. So it helps me to write less code, and so I'm going with this. So column, so I want a 47% column each of them, and I will have an 6% left that will be used for gap. So flex basis 47%. You can pick it as much you need. So if I do that, you see that it's pushed back to left side, and we have a 6% gap on the right side. And here I need to specify the space. So justify content, I want in between space, so space between. So now it will be perfectly two column. So here is a small problem. If I inspect this and show you the mobile version, it's stacked. So we want one column in mobile. So I'm going to wrap this two line in a media query. So media mean width, now if I refresh this mobile version, you will see that it's now one column, but we want a small margin after this first column. So column, so margin bottom, for example 60 pixel. Now this will look good, but on a larger device we don't need this margin. So this should be this margin should be applied on the first child. So I'm going to add the first child and this margin. So this is same as this, for example first child, same as this. So I will not explain for the rest of this method. So anyways, so if I save this and go back to the mobile view once again, we will see that this margin is in place anyways, and we don't want this awkward margin on larger device. So I'm going to offset this margin on larger device, for example So this is now complete. So you see that it's perfectly aligned, and on the mobile device it's one column. So that's the end for this example, and you don't need to write or memorize any of this CSS. I will give a link so you can download the whole template from my GitHub repository. Anyways, now go to this second example, which is CSS grid. So on my HTML, here is the HTML for this grid example. I have a container, and underneath I have a wrapper div, two column using grid. So this is the parent div, and I have, just like this previous example, I have two other div using column. So display grid, and grid templates column I will use 47 and 47, just like Flexbox. Grid template columns 47% and 47%, and we want a gap, the 6% rest of the gap. So column gap 6%. So with this CSS in place, this should be two column, which is very efficient. So we don't need to write any extra code. And if I go to this mobile version, it's stacked one after another, so we don't want that. We also want a one column. So we'll use a media query just like this previous. So I will cut this everything and use a media query. And paste this 3 lines of CSS. And if I save this and show you, this first column is attached with the second one. So I'm going to add a margin here. So it has a class column. So first child, margin bottom, for example 60 pixel. And if I refresh, so this looks good. And on the same, just like the previous one, we will offset this margin. So this now looks good on large device and also on a small device. So that's the end. And for the last example, so I have a wrapper div here. So it's two column using float. I'm going to copy this class name, and first of all, using float, I'm using box sizing first. So it's honor the width and height and margin. And so for this and this second, for this column, let me check this name. Here I also have a column class for this second div. So column and float left, and width should be 47%. So if I save this and check this, So this is the problem with float. Anyways, we'll fix that. So for the first child, I want also a margin. Let me so now I so we need to add a overflow hidden here, overflow hidden, and this is float. So we need to also wrap this in a media query, so we don't want on larger device to float on left. We don't want a float on small devices. So media min width 68 pixel and paste my code. If I check this, so this is now looks like that, and after this first child I want a margin bottom 60 pixel. So this should be here, I missed it anyways, and now this margin will be applied. So this is how it looks on mobile device, and on a larger device we want a gap. So we will add a margin right to the first column. So we have 6% left space. So now if I check this, it's working good on larger device as well. So to clean up this a little bit, so I'm going with this one is okay, and that's also fine. And so we don't want this 6% margin on mobile device. For example, if I show you the mobile version of it, this here is a 6% margin, so we don't want that. So we'll cut this and use a media query here. And paste this margin, and if I check this, now it looks good on mobile as well. So if I also check this large device, it also looks good, but we may need to offset this margin bottom. So even though it's not reflected here, so so margin 60, this will be margin 0 on mobile on large device. So this is how you can make a 2-column layout using Flexbox, grid, and float. But I don't use float too much because it's problematic, and latest technology is grid. Grid is the best choice recently, and it is the latest model on CSS that supports almost all web browsers. Flexbox is also fine, so you can use any of these two, but I don't recommend using float. Anyways, that's it. This is how you can make 3-column layout in 3 different ways. You can download this template and all this code from my GitHub repository. I will give a link under this video. Thanks.